This is going to be part 2. Okay, here we go. Number 12. Now as to the hijackers being amateurs, let me remind you, sir, that they all had pilot's license. Now let me read you a little something from an experienced pilot named Julio Renacia. And I quote, "In my opinion, the official version of the fact is absolutely plausible. It does not require exceptional circumstances, bending up any laws of physics or superhuman capabilities. Like other real pilots have said, the maneuvers required of the hijackers were within their very limited capabilities. They were performed without any degree of finesse and resulted in damage to the targets only after desperate over-maneuvering of the planes. The hijackers took advantage of anything that might make their job easier, and decided not to rely on their low piloting skills. It is misleading to make people believe that the hijackers had to possess superior pilot skills to do what they did." End quote. Now as to the Pentagon itself, I'm going to read you a passage from Salon magazine, which quotes a number of professional pilots. And I quote, "As I've explained in at least one prior column, Hani Hajor's flying was hardly the show-quality demonstration often described. It was exceptional only in its recklessness. If anything, his loops and turns and spirals above the nation's capital revealed him to be exactly the shitty pilot he by all accounts was. To hit the Pentagon squarely he needed only a bit of luck, and he got it, possibly with the help from the 757's autopilot. Striking a stationary object, even a large one like the Pentagon, at high speed and from a steep angle is very difficult. To make the job easier, he came in obliquely, tearing down light poles as he roared across the Pentagon's lawn. It's true there's only a vestigial similarity between the cockpit of a light trainer and the flight deck of a Boeing. To put it mildly, the attackers as private pilots were completely out of their league. However, they were not setting out to perform single-engine missed approaches on Category 3 instrument landings with a failed hydraulic system. For good measure, at least 2 of the terrorist pilots had rented simulator time in jet aircraft, but striking the Pentagon or navigating along the Hudson River to Manhattan on a cloudless morning with the sole intention of steering head-on into a building did not require a mastery of airmanship. The perpetrators had purchased manuals and videos describing the flight management systems of the 757 and 767, and as any desktop simulator enthusiast will tell you, elementary operation of the plane's navigational units and autopilots is chiefly an exercise in data programming. You can learn it at home. You won't be good, but you'll be good enough. Okay, here's a quote. "They had done their homework, and they had what they needed," says United Airlines pilot, name withheld on request, who has flown every model of Boeing from the 737 up, rudimentarily knowledge and fearlessness. "As everyone saw, their flying was sloppy and aggressive," says Michael, last name withheld on request, a pilot with several thousand hours in the 757 and 767s. Their skills and experience or lack thereof just weren't relevant. The hijackers required only the shallow understanding of the aircraft, agrees Ken Hertz, an airline pilot rated on the 757 and 767. In much the same way that a person needn't be an experienced physician in order to perform a CPR or set a broken bone. That sentiment is echoed by Joe Eden, airline pilot and host of the Fly With Me podcast series. It's the difference between a doctor and a butcher, says Eden. Okay, those are some quotes from real-life pilots. Now you can go get your little truther pilots. See how many of them are fucking 767 or 757 rated instruments. Okay. Number 13. As the rule of law, if you want to get into the debate over the Patriot Act, the Military Commissions Act, the executive orders put out by Bush, etc., then I'm open to it. But I must insist on not making making assumptions based on blanket statements as you have. I will only state the following quote from Thomas Jefferson. A strict observance of the written law is doubtless one of the high duties of a good citizen, but is not the highest. The laws of necessity, of self-preservation, of saving our country when in danger are of higher obligation. To lose our country by a scrupulous adherence to the written law would be to lose the law itself, with life, liberty, and property, and all those who are enjoying them with us, thus absurdly sacrificing the ends to the means." End quote. Number 14. Now as to my final point. You commented on my introduction as deciding the level of debate. However, it is you, sir, by the very fact that you are a truther, who has chosen this level of debate. I am more than capable of debating you on any subject at any time. But when we get into conspiracy territory, I have to paraphrase Hofstadter. In connecting your imaginary dots to prove to your own satisfaction your preconceived conclusions, you stretch rationality way past the point of credulity. You, sir, are a truther, a conspiracist, and a nut. Fuck you.